This the War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out smackdowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by TagMeADate. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the War Report podcast on a Tuesday, late night edition. I'm solo at the moment, but I know Al's going to be on shortly, Ryan's going to be on shortly, and then, of course, we're going to get all your comments. But everybody, welcome to the War Report podcast.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was looped. Kevin says, what's up, Kevin? Welcome to the show. Another Tuesday, another late night edition, and we have a lot to talk about because we have upon us something huge. The largest audience in wrestling history in Wembley Stadium. AEW has proven that they can sell out Wembley Stadium. There was a time where they didn't think they had a prayer. So we're going to have to cover that pay-per-view because it is this Sunday, 12 o'clock, because, of course, it's in the UK. So we're going to have to break that down, and I'm, of course, going to wait for everybody to get on here before I do that. Meanwhile, I do want to talk about something, and that's Shinsuke Nakamura and everything that has been going on with Seth Rollins. And I got to tell you, not only am I extremely happy about this heel turn with Shinsuke, but the promo that they did this past week on Raw was absolutely perfect because they let him do it in another language, which is always a heel thing for the most part. It draws great heat, and they had the subtitles. What do you do with Shinsuke, who can't really cut a promo where everyone's going to understand what he's saying? Do the subtitles. Subtitles work perfectly. And it was a great promo. It explained a lot why we are where we are right now with Shinsuke and the way he asked for his title shot, which he's going to get. Now, the question is he going to go over and defeat Seth Rollins? Are we going to have a new champion? I personally think it's time for Shinsuke to get a nice run with the belt, but is it too soon for Seth Rollins to drop the title? And that's kind of what we have to figure out because it may be too soon. Tara, hello, welcome to the show as always. So we're going to have to break that down too. Either way, win or lose, this should be one hell of a match. Hands down, without question, should be quite possibly match of the night contendership because it's telling a great story. And those two can back up the great story with a phenomenal match because they can both go. So either way, the fans are in for a treat. That also brings me to a guy like Chad Gable. And this is something I really wanted to discuss with the panel, so I hope they get on here soon because we've been saying week after week how impressive Chad Gable has been. And he has been unbelievably impressive. But I am willing to go out and think that this match that he just had with Gunther, even though he won by countout, still a victory on Gunther, which hasn't been done yet since he's been brought up to the main roster. But two, Chad Gable showed that he can go with the best of them. And I honestly think that could go down as match of the entire year. That's how good that match was. Chad Gable can sell, he can deliver, he has the comedic factor. He is the total package outside of his height, and he's proven that that doesn't mean a fucking thing because him versus Gunther was phenomenal. And that's not to take anything away from Gunther. I'm a big fan of Gunther. I will always be a big fan of Gunther. So, but you put the two of them together. What a hell of a match that was. Facebook user, I'm going to say it's Kevin. Shinsuke with a title is long overdue. Yeah, I agree. Shinsuke is a guy that should have had a main world heavyweight title run already. And I still think that he should get it now. Are they going to do it, though? Is it too soon for Rollins to drop? He's only had it, 3 months? But he has been a fighting champion. I would love to see Shinsuke get the opportunity. My gut tells me they're going to stick with Rollins right now, but you never know. I mean, that's the nice thing in the WWE. You just never know where they're going to go. So we're going to have to see. Oh, we got Kat joining the stream. Thank God, because doing this on my own is a fucking chore.
I saw that. I don't have the best voice, but I wasn't going to leave you hanging, sweetheart.
I appreciate it. What the hell happened to your voice?
I was in the hospital on Sunday.
Oh, I did see that. How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I have to have another procedure done tomorrow, so my sexy voice is a little bit sexier tonight, but, it's all good.
There you go. Well, listen, anything for the viewership. So listen.
I wasn't going to leave you hanging, darling, so I was like, shit, let me get on there real quick.
I appreciate it. I do believe Ryan and Al are going to be on soon, too. So if you can't make it through the whole thing, we understand you got to keep your voice. But I do, since I have you, I assume you've been listening.
Correct.
What are you thinking with what I said in terms of match of the year contendership for Gunther Gable?
100%.
Right? Was that match not everything you could possibly imagine, if not more?
That was definitely the highlight for me for Monday Night Raw. That was just a really, really, I would have loved it more if he won, even though we want Gunther to make the reign, but that he won the title, but fucking amazing match.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think when they have the actual match now, I assume they're going to do it at Payback. I can't see Gable going over. I think Gunther's going to continue to reign.
Absolutely, but I would have loved that moment. I think that momentum feeling would have been really cool with the way everything was happening. But definitely match of the night for me, 1,000%.
Match of the night, and I really think that it's in contendership for match of the entire
100%,
year.
100%.
That match it had everything you could imagine and then some.
Yep.
It was just very well done. And I was even okay with the count-out victory because at the end of the day, it's a victory. It's the first time that Gunther has actually lost a match since coming to the main roster, but he didn't lay down. He didn't get pinned.
Exactly. So it was done in a good way. Yep.
They both looked excellent. And if anything, Gable looked amazing.
Absolutely.
I mean, that guy is proving day in and day out that he can hang with the best of them, and his size doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
So I also was talking about the Shinsuke Seth Rollins deal. And I want to hear your opinion because here's what I just said earlier. We constantly say what Shinsuke would need is a manager because it's hard to understand when he does it in English and it's very heelish when he does it in Japanese. So instead of giving a manager, I thought he delivered one of the best promos I've heard ever. And the subtitles were the perfect substitute to having a manager. And I thought that's how his promos should be from now on. With the subtitles and in Japanese.
Yep.
I mean, what a hell of a promo. And it told a story that makes sense and has now gotten me excited to see this match. I just really, and Kevin agrees, he commented Shinsuke not having a title is long overdue.
1,000%. The only thing that I didn't really care about was the secret wasn't really that big of a secret. So that part was like, ooh, Seth's got a bad back, shocker.
Well, but people don't know the extent.
It's true. So that part was kind of like, that was the big secret of the whisper from last week. But 1000% on the promo. If they had done this the first time they healed him after AJ Styles, the heel would have worked so much better. That was a brilliantly done for it to be put together.
Yeah, it was very well done, and I think they need to continue to do it that way, quite honestly, because it loses something.
Yeah.
It
was better than standing there saying no speak English.
Right, and then you have to hear, what every 10 seconds, which, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it gets
redundant after a while.
It does get redundant.
I hear you.
So, what else have been your big takeaways, SmackDown or Raw? I'm trying to hold off on AEW card until the rest of the panel gets on.
Right.
But any big takeaways for you with SmackDown or Raw this week? I mean, I thought Raw was decent. I didn't think it was anything. The crowd made Raw.
Yeah. So
the crowd was amazing.
Yeah. So the Judgment Day, Cody, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens ended up being good at the end, but something has to happen major in the Judgment Day storyline, I think, soon, because now it's kind of just getting redundant with the Finn Balor, Damian Priest bickering back and forth every week. It's like someone needs to make a move to make something happen with that, because
I kind of like the slow build of it. They're teasing and teasing and teasing. I think ultimately what's going to happen is Damian Priest gets kicked out and they bring that other guy in that Finn Balor likes.
JD McDonough.
Yeah.
That's possible. Like I said, maybe it was just last night that the flow of it didn't go as well as it does normally for regular weeks or whatever. I just wasn't feeling the way that it was thrown together last night, but that's just me. It could have also been the drugs that I was on also for the last 48 hours. So that could be part of the reason too, but that did nothing for me. But if we're going to go back and talking about SmackDown, I don't know. Do you want to save Edge until everyone's here, or?
I mean, I was going to, but I think we can always kind of go back to it and see what the opinions are. We do have Kevin, I believe. Yes, the Judgment Day storyline is getting stale. I don't, Ryan, what's up, man? I don't necessarily think that it's getting stale. I actually like the way it's going. I mean, listen, everything is not going to be a home run 100% of the time.
Absolutely.
People aren't thrilled with the explanation from Oos to Oos and this and that, but I think just let it continue play. I think, as we're approaching Payback and everything else, I think some big things are going to go on. We finally got our comment from our regular David Roscoe over at YouTube. What's up, Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch at Payback inside steel cage? Yes, that is going to happen, and I think it's going to be great. And we got Al. Welcome to the show.
What's going on? Sorry for the delay, guys.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you came.
And ladies.
All good.
Yeah, Kat bailed me out. I was solo.
Oh, I guess you got me and Ryan now. Look at that.
Yep. I know. So now we got a panel, which is good because I was holding off on AEW and the pay-per-view. I figured we'll do that when we got the full panel. But Kat and I were just about to talk about Edge. Well, actually, before we get into Edge, Al, I was also talking about how I officially am throwing Chad Gable versus Gunther in the running for the match of the entire year.
That sounds interesting. Because they
did good.
They've really been teasing us with this U.S. title forever, and I like the way that sounds. I mean, as hot as he is, you can't go wrong with letting him dethrone that and let him again. You could take the title from Gunther as long as you're putting him towards the promised land, because I don't think he should lose heat. I see a lot of I see that was great timing, by the way.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Which I hope you didn't speak about him yet, because that's another guy we got to speak about.
Well, listen, I'm speaking about Chad Gable versus Gunther being match of the year. That match was absolutely hands down beyond anything I could have ever imagined, and made Gunther look great as he always, but made Gable look incredible and a real contender. I don't think Gable ultimately at Payback is going over on Gunther. I think Gunther retains. But nonetheless, showed that he can hang and was unbelievable. Chad is going to win it. I predict it. I believe that's Kevin. Kevin, we'll see, man. I really don't think Gunther loses the title yet, but Gable has made us believe that he can. And I can't say enough about how impressed I've been with Chad Gable.
I mean, one thing I can say about WWE, that they are hard on fans, but sometimes fans ask hard enough for something, and we get it. Having said that, I don't see him beating him, but I don't think a loss to a guy like Gunther is going to hamper Chad Gable whatsoever. My question would be, what do you do with him after that? Because I don't think he should lose that steam. So if he doesn't beat him, what do you do? It's tough.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That is a fair question.
Maybe back to the tag division? I wouldn't hate
he gets
that.
watered down. Like, I don't think you need him in
He's
the
still
tag
the star
division.
between him and
they are kind of teasing what's her face going with Imperium, and if that happens, it could kind of break up those two, and then they go separate, on their own. David Rosca from YouTube: Chad Gable will beat Gunther at Payback for the IC Championship. I honestly don't think that's happening yet, but I could be wrong. And then David says Bianca Belair will be a women's champion at Payback. We'll get into that. I don't know how I feel about that. And maybe Kevin again. The only thing that annoyed me about that match was that they gave Gable the Luger treatment. He didn't win the title. Well, the title was never on the line in that match.
I thought it was. Wasn't it an IC match?
No.
Okay. I think
it never was announced.
They never announced it.
Okay, so it wasn't then, because they always do that whole thing beforehand.
And listen, quite honestly, I'm glad it wasn't, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't have been happy seeing Gunther lose the IC title via countout.
But Steve, I have a question for you though, in regards to this. Isn't that a great thing? I
apologize. It was Tara. Go ahead. What?
Isn't that a great thing as a wrestling fan, that you don't want to take a title off a guy, but the other guy deserves it? Like, it's been so long we've been in this position as wrestling fans. Like, I think honestly, as fans, we should appreciate the fact that we have guys that you don't know which way it's going to go, and either way it goes, we're not mad about it because they both deserve it. And I think that's something wrestling's been missing for a long time. And I give credit to, whoever's writing this and, whoever's behind the scenes, because it's I feel like a kid again watching wrestling, which is awesome. And I haven't had that feeling in a long time.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, here, let's do it this way. Ryan, I'm going to go to you because you're going to be the one that probably knows this. Have we,
what's up?
When Payback arrives, has Gunther officially surpassed Honky Tonky Man as the longest reigning defending IC champion?
Give me 2 minutes to verify.
What was he, like 35 days away when Monday started or something, or last Friday? He wasn't that far away. He was almost there.
Wait, say that again?
Last Friday, I think they mentioned he was like 35 or 45 days
He's
away.
under 30 days, I believe, is what he's
within 30, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Payback, he's not, that record still won't have been broken yet.
It looks like Jude Law.
That's very funny.
I'm going to check www.com to get updated day count.
Well, my point being, if Payback comes and Gunther has not surpassed the Honky Tonk Man's reign, Gunther's not losing. At this point, you're letting Gunther beat that reign.
But Steve, my question to you is, does he lose it right after he beats the reign? That's not very WWE-ish.
Who? Gable?
Yeah, I'm saying, let's say hypothetically, Gunther beats the Honky Tonk Man by 2 days. You think they're gonna take the title away from him right away? Like, I don't see that
No,
happening.
I don't think so.
I don't think that's gonna happen either way.
I don't think so.
But what I can tell you is this about that match. I believe last week I said the fact that Gable is such an all-around wrestler, and we've never really seen him in a brawl. And he actually showed you that he can be in a brawl last week, which was absolutely awesome. Like I thought it was a great match. Definitely match of the day. It could be match of the month, including every match in pay-per-views. I thought that match was awesome.
I really think it's up there for match of the year contendership. I really do. I feel strongly about that. I mean, that's when I sat there watching that match, that's what came to mind to me. But either way, it's just massive compliments on both. And the only thing I didn't like is the continued implications that there is drama within Imperium. And I'm afraid that Imperium is going to have some changes soon. And I like Imperium, but
It is. I got an official answer. Payback is 5 days before he breaks the record.
Wow.
yeah, he's not losing.
No.
Sorry, guys.
On September 7th, he breaks the record. On September 2nd is Payback.
Yeah, so there's no way. Now, if Gable does wind up beating Gunther, it'll be a rematch after this match, and they'll do a best of 3, and in the end, Gable wins. But at least in the record books, it's not going to any longer show that the Honky Tonk Man is the longest reigning champion.
Thank God.
Well, because listen, Al, you said it yourself, right? I mean, now you go back in the history books and you see that Gunther was the longest reigning. You're like, all right, I can get down with that. You see Honky Tonk Man, and your reaction is, can we believe sitting here that we're saying this as factual?
And if mine serves me right, and I mean, I don't mean to show my age at this point, but I don't recall the Honky Tonk having that many matches when he was a champ. Like, he really didn't wrestle that much.
Say that again.
I said, hopefully I don't show my age by asking this question, but I don't believe the Honky Tonk Man had that many defenses compared to Gunther.
No.
No, not even close.
Nowhere near. Like,
but you got to remember, back in that era, they usually only defended titles at pay-per-views. And back then, pay-per-views weren't once a month.
No, the rule was that you had to defend every 30 days back then, and that's what Saturday night's main event was for.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, but for me, Saturday night's main event was like a pay-per-view for me.
Well, like, I do appreciate both of you guys showing my age, so thank you very much.
But you're right, because the only major, besides when Ultimate Warrior beat him at that SummerSlam, the only intercontinental title defense that I ever really remember him giving was the one against Macho Man Randy Savage when he threw Elizabeth on the ground, and that was the beginning of the Mega Powers.
Right, I remember.
Because Elizabeth went to go get Hulk Hogan to save Randy Savage from getting hit in the head in the guitar with the Heart Foundation and everything. That's the only title defense I could think of, besides maybe Brutus the Barber Beefcake a couple of times here and there. He really didn't defend it that often in anything major. I don't think he ever defended it on a pay-per-view besides that SummerSlam.
Which is, by the way, a great way to protect both wrestlers. You make the Mega Powers, and he stays with the Intercontinental Championship. So that was great writing.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I don't, like I said, besides, I think that was SummerSlam.
So, Kat, the irony of the Intercontinental Championship being the workman's title, and the man that holds the championship record is not a worksman, it truly bothers me.
No, I agree. Because when you think of your list of greatest Intercontinental champions and everything that you go down, probably one of the first names besides Gunther, obviously, presently, that comes into my mind is going to be someone like Kurt Hennig when Mr. Perfect was the champion.
You got so many great guys that went through it. You got Kurt Hennig. You mentioned the Warrior. You have Shawn Michaels. You have one of my favorite bad guys ever that I believe should have gotten a title shot, Razor Ramon. And, and the list goes on and on. Stone Cold, so be it. Macho Man, it's crazy to say Honky Tonk has the championship.
So here's a valid question from Facebook. It says, do live house show title defenses count? And that's a valid question because my first initial reaction was going to be, no, it doesn't count. But the reality is
it does.
Big Daddy Cool Diesel started his first ever title reign by beating Bob Backlund at a house show at Madison Square Garden in 6 seconds or whatever it was. So I would have to say those do count.
So
they do count.
Hitman Hart beating Ric Flair in Saskatoon.
That's right.
But that was televised though.
WWF champion.
Oh, Al makes a point though. That was televised though.
That was televised.
No, it was no. Not the first time he won. The first time he won the WWF championship, Mean Gene Okerlund started a WWF Superstars on a Saturday morning saying that we have a new wrestling champion, and nobody knew who the hell it was until Bret's music played because Mr. Perfect was complaining about Saskatoon that whole episode of WWF. Superstars. First title reign was in a house show.
Well, I think she's right.
Well, again, I'm showing my age once again because the only time I remember it wasn't Monday Night Raw when he beat him or Saturday Night Live. He actually beat him for the title in front of everybody with a sharpshooter.
That did happen, but Bret was already the champion.
He wasn't. He didn't walk in with the title. He won the title for the first time that match.
It went back and forth between Bret and Rick. Bret lost it once to Rick. Bret won it back.
Oh. I guess you learn something new every day, and I just did.
Seriously.
It's pathetic, but anything from like 1984 to like 1994 is like pathetically embedded in my head.
There's nothing pathetic about it. That's why we have you on the show.
Yeah,
yeah, that's why you're here.
David
Who else
Rosca,
could dig that record up?
David Rosca from YouTube. Jack Gable will be the new IC champion at Payback, so he's another one that says Gable's going to win. Like I said, I think based on going by Honky Tonk's record, he will not be winning at Payback. This must be Tara. Yes, Kat, let him know. And then Facebook user, what's up, guys? What's up, man? Let us know who you are, please, because it just says Facebook user. It does not give the name.
And I mentioned at that point, I had an extreme, huge crush on Bret the Hitman Hart. So trust me, I knew.
Was were you Bret over Shawn in terms of crush? Because it was always usually those two.
I was Bret over Shawn, but I was a Marty over Shawn too.
Ooh, interesting.
Ooh, that's weird.
Dante Woodbury, what's up, brother, man? Glad
Hey,
you glad you're on and checking us out.
That was Dante that said yes, Kat.
I know, because I asked him. That's what I said, and then he said it's Dante. I know it's him.
Well, I got the answer to the Honky Tonk Man.
And Kevin
16 title defenses.
16, that's it.
I think
16 and had the longest reigning. How crazy is that?
Okay, that's fucking.
Gunther did that in
unless the record I was shown is wrong, but it looked legit. So I counted 16.
So wait, I'm actually curious now as to who these 16 title defenses were against.
Give me a second here. I still got it pulled up, but I gotta switch over to the.
I have $10 on the Brooklyn Brawler being one of them.
I got dates. I got locations. This is as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah, we don't need all the locations or all the. We don't need all.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like against. Let's see here. That's where he won.
By the way, if anybody ever had any question who listens to our show regularly and now has gotten familiar with our good friend David Roscoe over at YouTube, if this is shocking to anybody, I would be blown away myself. But he had a massive crush on Trish Stratus, and talk about Trish Stratus last night on Raw. I happen to agree. She looked fantastic last night on Raw. And who didn't have a crush on Trish Stratus? She was stunning, and she still is stunning.
I mean, look, I would love to talk about how good she looks, but honestly, I'm gonna say something about her promo for the first time. I think she had a great promo last night.
Yes, it was good.
It was a very, very good promo.
It was it was the best one she's cut in a while.
I mean, if it was based on promos, I'll give her the win, but we know that's not happening. But I mean,
Sean Waltman was still in diapers at that time.
All right. So, anything else on Raw or SmackDown that we want? Oh, well, we got to talk about Edge. So, Edge versus Sheamus. Talk about another match that could be match of the year contender.
1000%.
That match gave us everything. They didn't have a lot of time to build for the match, and yet we got everything we needed in the build.
Yep.
One promo, one video package, one story that resonated with you. It made sense. It was real. And those are the best when they're real. So you didn't need a month of buildup. You needed 1 week. We got 1 week. And when Edge's music hit, and that Toronto crowd, if you didn't get the goosebumps, you're not a human. And that match delivered on every fucking cylinder you could possibly imagine.
Yep.
They loved each other in the match. They hated each other in the match. False finish, false finish, false finish, false finish, false finish, and a phenomenal finish.
Yep.
And they did what they usually don't do. They let Edge get over. And usually you lose in your hometown.
Yep.
So great fucking call with that. But then we also have to talk about the promo that went all over social media after they went off the air, where Edge addressed the fans. And every other headline after that was Edge is retiring. He announced he's never wrestling again. That is not the case.
Yeah.
Edge said he will not be wrestling ever again in Toronto. His contract is up. His last contracted match we just saw. But that does not mean that they will not bring him back for something else. They have to renegotiate a contract, and he has to also decide if he wants to sign another contract.
Steve.
And he will decide, yes.
Or AEW. AEW. What about a reunion with his brother?
I mean, listen, would I love to see Edge and Christian back together again in AEW, where you have the potential of another feud with the Hardys? Yes, I would love that, but I don't see it happening. I think Edge is a WWE guy.
But you only need one night for All In. You don't need a contract.
I
you
would
need
be
one night for All In.
I would be willing to bet that he is not an All In. I mean, listen, I will mark out like a motherfucker, but I don't see it happening.
Isn't his contract through September, though? And it's not even a possibility?
Is it through September? I thought it was done at the end of this month, no?
I thought his contract was up after that match, but I could be mistaken. I don't know.
I think it's past All In, but
yeah, it's
Thank
3
you.
days after All In, according to the latest.
Then he's not going to be there.
Oh, then yeah.
Unless they work something out with the powers that be, but I it's like part of me says on one hand, if the opportunity was there, they should allow it.
Yeah.
Everybody is so much AEW versus WWE mindset. This is the greatest fucking time since WCW and WWF to be a wrestling fan. We have a young, brand new company, hasn't even been around 5 years, that was told they're out of their mind to try and sell out a place like Wembley, that it's going to be a joke. And they sold over 81,000 tickets. The largest crowd in Wembley history. And then you have WWE, where on the day that tickets officially went on sale for WrestleMania, that's 8 months away, they sold 91,000 plus tickets. If that doesn't tell you to shut the fuck up and just enjoy being a wrestling fan, because you are getting great wrestling, you're getting great product, there is room for both. It doesn't have to be, I'm an AEW guy. It doesn't have to be, I'm a WWE guy. It has to be I'm a pro fucking wrestling guy and I'm having the time of my life because I'm being given some of the best fucking product I've gotten in a long, long time.
Hey, Steve.
Yes, sir.
You sound like a Democrat or Republican that just went independent, and I love it. Now, I do want to say one thing, though, in regards to
America great again.
yeah, there you go.
I'm making wrestling fans great again.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
One thing I do want to say about this match that I noticed it like maybe halfway through the match that it like we talk a lot about storytelling in this podcast, and how can we not? Because we are wrestling fans, right? But for me, the match gave you Edge's story through his career. Like he started hot. He got hurt in the middle. He had doubts 3/4 through the match, and he came through at the end. And for me, when he first came out, it was like he first came out in that SummerSlam match that we waited for him to come out so many years after. And that was the atmosphere you received. So for them to carry that on through the match and give you that story of his life through a wrestling match, I thought it was awesome. I mean, we talked about match of the year with Gable and Gunther, but I mean, could we possibly have 2 matches of the year in one night? I think so, because those 2 matches were absolutely awesome.
I agree. I think it's possible. I really do. I mean, it's you're right. To me, the story to us, I could say at this point, the storytelling is just as important as the physicality. When you can get both parties to do the same thing and do it really well, you have gold in your hands. You have match of the year contendership in your hands. And these are 2 guys that can do it. They did it. They fucking delivered. And it was enjoyable to watch. And I really hope it's not the end of Edge. You know, one other sign that it may not be over, I didn't see any fucking boots left in the middle of that ring.
Right.
So to me, he's not retired yet. Now it's to be continued. I don't think we're going to see him for a while, but Royal Rumble's not too far away, ladies and gentlemen. I could see, that countdown, and I could hear Edge's music hit, and the roof would blow off like it did after 9 years when nobody saw it coming.
Right.
Now, my question to you, does he get one more title run, or he just comes in for a few more matches?
I mean, I would absolutely love to see him be able to get another title run. I don't necessarily think it's necessary, and I don't know that that's going to actually happen. But I do want to catch up on some comments because we both kind of went off on here. But that sucks to see Edge say goodbye. I will miss him. It's not goodbye forever as far as I'm concerned until I hear otherwise. So keep the faith alive. Absolutely great match. It was no way AEW. So agreeance there. And I seen somewhere he might go to AEW with Christian from Kevin. Like I said, it's anything is possible in this business. I personally just don't see it happening, but I would damn sure be okay if it did.
Can I touch on Christian for 1 second?
You say whatever you want.
I still can't believe WWE let Christian go through their hands.
Yeah.
With the run he's having on AEW.
Vince McMahon, for some reason, just never saw the potential in him, and I don't know why. I agree with you 1,000 fucking percent. Christian is another one that's gold. He's great on the mic. He's great as a heel. He's great as a face. He can cut a great fucking promo, and he's great in the ring, and he's a guy that's been able to reinvent himself time and time again. I am a huge fan of Christian.
Love Edge's joke on him. He's such a dick. But yeah, with the heel, he's a dick, and it is great.
Ryan, but like, as WWE fans that we have, isn't that like Vince's motto? Like, doesn't he always he never believes on a tag team. Like, he'll believe in a tag team for a while, but there's always one guy he picks out of the litter that's like, all right, you're the guy, and he runs with him. Like, the only, and not even the only, if you think about it, because the closest to that, if you think about it, was the Shield, right? He gave all three guys a chance, but eventually he really leaned on one guy. Like, the whole time he thought it was one guy. So, like, I just think that's Vince's motto. He doesn't believe on both guys when it comes to a tag team. He always pushes one and forgets about the other. And it is a shame that he did let Christian go through his hands, because I don't think Aren, correct me if I'm wrong, but in his last run, he didn't give him a chance as a heel, did he? He was just that face. That one more.
It was
match.
the one match
that was watered down. Like, he should have been that asshole that we love as an asshole, and he probably would have still been in WWE.
Outside of Edge and Christian, he never believed in anything just Christian and never gave any of it a chance. Until the very end, when they gave him the title reign for like 10 minutes. And that was it.
Yeah.
Literally 10 minutes.
I think it was bad wording. It's not, I can't believe. It's more, I'm disappointed that we're not seeing this Christian even feuding with Edge. I would have loved that, this Christian feuding with Edge over Judgment Day.
Well,
right. You're not wrong. Like,
if people got their wish.
I can't believe it's correct. Because, I mean, who doesn't want to see that feud? Especially with Edge coming back out of retirement, you know, and Christian's your baby face, and they get together, and then he just fucks his friend over.
And he gets jealousy over the Hall of Fame. They were building that even behind it, like during the Hall of Fame stuff.
Listen,
like when Christian tried taking over the Hall of Fame speech.
If I'm wrong and people get their wish and Edge does show up, they could very well just do Edge versus Christian, and then eventually that lead to them getting back together for one more run as Edge and Christian. But I really just don't see it, unfortunately.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, seeing it is hard, but I mean, again, as fans, we could always wish.
I mean, it would be amazing.
Nothing's impossible.
Well, listen, they always say, right? You never say never.
In this business, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, if Brett came back and Edge came back, I could see Edge joining AEW for a run.
Especially Bret Hart coming back in those fucking jean shorts. If he could do that, anything is possible.
Oh, that was rough.
That was horrible, man.
That was
oh my God, that was bad.
Kevin,
I give him credit though.
Kevin, remember ECK, Edge, Christian, and Kurt? I do. That was fucking great. And that led to a lot of other great things too. I mean, that was just such a great time.
Them with Foley. Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, listen. So we've talked a lot of WWE. We got about 15 minutes or so left, and we really should talk about this AEW Wembley Stadium card because I am so excited. I am a big AEW fan, but I got to be honest, I really don't buy the pay-per-views. I watch clips and I get caught up, but I just don't spend the money. I'm buying this pay-per-view. I am spending the money because it is going to be worth it. Everything about it is going to be worth it. If not even anything, the crowd will be worth it. This is going to be one of those shows where you have goosebumps for 3 hours because that crowd is going to be electric. And this is going to bring a lot more shows, I think, back to Wembley. Al, by the way, it's 12 o'clock on Sunday. I'll see you then. So it's going to be phenomenal. And of course, we got to talk about the headliner.
Wait, is it really 12 o'clock? Are you messing with me?
No, it's 12 o'clock on Sunday because it's in England.
Oh, shit. I can tell my wife I'm going golfing. I think I might be there.
Just say 4, and I'll see you way before 4. But figure show up at like 11:45. We'll be ready to go for noon.
Sounds good.
Al, do you make your wife a golf widow?
Unfortunately, sometimes she is. Not much this year, but usually she is.
Hey, don't judge. This is about AEW Wembley Stadium.
Is there any way to watch it postscript?
I don't care. I just thought it was hilarious.
Is there any way to what?
Watch it after the fact. I just realized I had plans for the weekend. I'm like, When is the
I'm
27th?
sure if
And I
you
was
buy
like,
the pay-per-view,
shit.
On
yeah,
pay
for
per
sure.
view, they're never going
Yeah.
to tell you can't spend the money and buy the pay per view.
Yeah.
So,
True.
So we got to talk about the man that's not only a part of what's going to be, I can only imagine, one of the greatest pay per views we've seen in a long time, as long as they don't fuck it up, of course. But MJF is headlining versus Adam Cole, baby, for the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to see this match, probably more than anything else on the card. I am a fucking mark for this match. Let me tell you. So,
That was great.
thank you. Oh, thank you.
That
So,
was perfect.
what are you guys thinking? And who's going to go over? Because my gut tells me Adam Cole, baby, turns on MJF and takes the title in a dirty way.
That's where I'm going. But does that
I
happen
think-
after they win the tag team titles?
I think they lose the tag titles, and MJF. Cole turns on him after the match in the main event.
I agree with you halfway. I think they win the title and Cole turns on him.
Ooh,
Exactly. I'm with you. That's where I was going.
that
Which
would be fun.
It's the only way you could keep this team together, and why not keep them together, man? Like they're so fucking awesome. Like they're like
They are.
TV right
I don't
now.
think if MJF loses the belt, I don't see them staying together. I can't see MJF not being okay with Adam Cole being champion.
That's the point. That is the point.
Yeah, it's a
Like, he has
ticking
to
time
be
bomb.
a teammate of a guy that screwed him at his game.
Yep. I beat you at your own game, and now you're stuck being my partner.
And
Yep.
now you're stuck with me, baby.
Yep. I am so with you on that.
I like
And
that.
then guess what, Steve? Adam Cole could tell him, because I'm better than you, and you know it, baby. That'll be
I-
great.
It would be amazing. I mean, it's going to be great to kind of see where this goes. Guys, help me with the decision. I'm debating on whether or not to get the pay-per-view as a birthday present for myself. How much does it cost? I have absolutely no idea how it costs. Maybe Ryan can find that out for us. But no matter what the price is, I think if it's a birthday gift, you should do it, and you should get it, because I have a feeling they're going to deliver. I think there's going to be some surprises. And from what I'm understanding, this is going to be the biggest and best entrance from Chris Jericho that you have ever seen. And that might be worth the price of admission on its own. We also have a Facebook, Hank Poitras. Vince Berry is the GOAT. My man Hank, I happen to agree. Vince Berry is the greatest of all time. He is the voice of the Northeast, and we got nothing but love and respect for him here. So thank you for the shout out. And Kevin's the one that thinks Roddy is going to betray Cole.
Ooh.
Hey, by the way, Vince is our boy, right? Because I never knew his last name.
Yes, Vince the Prince Berry.
Yes.
I can tell you this, whoever just wrote that, I believe myself to be a very knowledgeable wrestling person. But when it comes to Vince, I bow down. So I agree with you 100%.
There you go. There you go. He knows his shit. And yeah, Tara, I had a feeling it was you. But yes, go buy the pay-per-view, and Ryan may be able to figure out what the price is for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one question before we get off Adam Cole that just came to mind. What
Sure.
if they end up winning the titles or losing them, which that doesn't really matter at this point. But like you said, there's a lot of surprises to come. What if because of a no DQ and somebody interferes in the match, and then you have a three-way in the future?
Who are you thinking that would be?
I don't know. A surprise.
Hmm.
I
What
would love to
if,
be surprised.
Roderick Strong.
What?
He's been having an issue with the Undisputed Brethren, who's in AEW.
Roderick Strong.
Isn't it Rod? Yeah, I thought it was Roderick.
Oh, yes.
He was
The white
having an
guy with
issue
the
with
neck brace.
Roderick
The
Strong.
Yep.
guy with the neck brace.
MJF, and
Well, that's what Kevin was saying.
I like that.
Yeah.
David Rosca, reminder: Trish Stratus is the second perfect 10 next to the living legend. Yes, David, we know.
Who's the
We know.
living legend?
Kaminia Namanucci, whatever though.
Oh, the Russian Olympic girl. Got it.
Romanian. No. Romanian, not Russian, honey.
Thank you for correcting me.
Olga was the Russian.
All right. So FTR versus the Young Bucks for the tag titles.
What's their contract look like? FTR.
Yeah.
I believe they re-signed.
But what happened? Has anything happened with what's his name with getting arrested last week?
He posted bond right away. And I saw the clip of the hearing. It was his first offense. He posted a $2,500 bond immediately, and it sounds like it's going to be it's going to kind of go away. So I don't think it's going to affect him being at the show. Although I don't know what the laws are.
The funny thing is, technically, it's his second offense. He just didn't get charged for what he did at the Hall of Fame induction when that guy jumped Bret the Hitman Hart.
Well, he didn't get charged for anything.
I said that technically it's his second offense. So he just didn't get charged.
Well, I mean, the guy attacked Bret Hart.
I was just being a smart ass.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I
yeah.
have a question. Do you see that? I mean, it's more. I get it, right? They're two great tag teams, but do you see the Young Bucks losing a big match again?
No. I think they're going over.
Exactly. That's what I see.
Agreed.
And then people will turn around and say this is Tony punishing because of what happened. But so we'll see. It'll be interesting. But I think that's going to be a great match. I mean, every match on the card has potential. You got Sheeta versus Tony Storm versus Saraya versus Dr. Britt Baker for the AEW Women's title. I mean, that match, I want to say that's going to be a home run, but at the end of the day, that's really going to depend on how Britt and how Saraya look. I'm not so worried about Tony or Sheeta. But with Dr. Britt Baker and Saraya, the wrestling has been iffy. So we'll see. I mean, and when I say I'm worried, I'm not worried. But those two have looked kind of sloppy lately. So and this be a personal.
And what I believe is the sad part is Saraya is going to go over. So
you think Saraya is leaving as champion?
I think so. I mean, she's been over a year in the company, and that was her main goal, and she hasn't gotten there, and is the biggest show of the year, and she's probably the highest paid female. So all that to put into contention, I really see her leaving. And honestly, I don't see a problem with Britt Baker's wrestling that much. I'm more worried about Saraya's wrestling. I don't think she's still there in the ring as she was back in the day. I think she wrestles a little scared still.
That's what I was just ask you that. Did you notice that too, Al? So yep, thank you for breaking.
Oh yeah, no, I noticed that also, and I think that's something that the more and more she does it, she's just gonna get comfortable again, and it's gonna take time. You probably get these mental blocks, and she had an injury that ended her career for a long time. So I can't imagine how hard it is to get over something like that and be able to mentally get back to where you were. And hopefully she's able to get there. Kevin thinks Britt's going to win the title back. I wouldn't be mad at it. I like Britt overall.
I love Britt.
But I've also heard Britt say that she's not looking to be world champion again because she doesn't really want all the shit that comes along with it. I don't know how real that is, but we'll see. But I could totally get behind Saraya winning the belt. I just hope she starts to get more comfortable in the ring and start to show us signs of the Paige that we remember before the career-threatening injury. CM Punk Samoa Joe for the real world championship. Match should be amazing.
I'm so torn on this match.
I think CM Punk's going to go over.
Has Samoa Joe ever beat CM Punk?
Ryan?
Ryan, you're up.
In Ring of Honor, yes,
He
but
did
not
one, too.
in AEW. Yeah, I believe. I'm currently
I
trying to
could have
get the dog back
sworn he
inside.
was 0 forever against CM Punk. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because if he's 0 forever, I could
Then
see
he's winning.
Samoa Joe coming out with it.
I would love to see Samoa Joe win. But
So I have a question. So now in AEW, I'm assuming we have a Universal Championship and a WWE Heavyweight Championship. The way it looks right now,
in AEW?
right? Because you got the ex AEW, which is CM Punk's,
Right.
and you have MJF's AEW Championship, which is the BBB. So do you
that's
have
true.
two championships now officially?
Well, now that you say it, yeah, I guess.
That's a good point.
Because they acknowledge both of them.
Well, I guess they took that from WWE. I didn't even put that together. It didn't even dawn on me, quite honestly. But
Yeah, but in all fairness, and I think I told you that at work the other day. By the way, me and Steve work together. The fact that this whole Jey Uso, I'm out the WWE is like MJF when he was in his contract dispute. So, come on, we can't really knock one for the other.
Deuces, ooses.
I appreciate that.
That was great.
I'm just saying.
No,
true,
you're not
though.
wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'll give you that. Anybody else have anything they want to add into this Punk Joe match? Okay, then we're gonna move. Well, go ahead, Kat. You got something?
Nothing. All I was going to say is I'm not sure if Tony Khan is ready to give CM Punk the responsibility of actually being champion again yet.
I can't necessarily disagree with you on that, but Tony Khan is a fucking mark, so
This is true.
you never know.
Where my problem lies, I'm thinking this too much from the backstage and the backstory stuff, not as much as what the match should be or whatever. So this is why I'm extremely torn on this match.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we'll see. All right, next we got Darby Allin and Joker Sting versus AR Fox and Swerve Strickland in a coffin match. I gotta think that Sting and Darby are gonna go over in Wembley.
Absolutely.
They are, but I hate the man. I love Swerve Strickland. Everything about him, his attitude, his cockiness,
He's
the
great.
asshole that he is. I hate him taking L after L. But you're right. Like, how do you bring Joker Sting back and he loses? So yeah, he has to go over.
Right. And Strickland's not going to look bad losing to Sting. You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt him. So I think, and listen, how many more Sting have left? So you got to give him a big show like Wembley, in my opinion. Joker Sting is gold. I agree. He is gold. I love Joker Sting back in the TNA Impact days. I'm glad they brought it back. It gives Sting a chance to really show that he can be a character and not just a guy that has crow paint on. Right. Not that Sting has anything to prove at this point, but you know what I mean.
Which is the reason why I think Strickland going over will help him more than it will hurt Sting. Like, I don't think it'll hurt Sting. He can keep moving on and doing his thing. But again, you can't bring a character and have him lose the first time around. So it doesn't make sense.
Right.
All right. Then we got Will Ospreay versus Chris.
You just made the list.
Chris Jericho. I'm going to say it's going to be Will Ospreay on this one.
I agree.
100%.
Right? Jericho's going to put him over.
Yeah. He has to.
Why do you feel he has to?
Sorry?
Why do you feel that he has to? I happen to agree, but I'm just curious.
I just think with this whole debacle thing with the Jericho Appreciation Society and all the mess and everything that's happening on in Chris Jericho's world right now, him winning, especially against Will Ospreay when he's so new and so hot right now to the AEW, I just don't think it would make any sense for Chris Jericho to win the match. I think he has to put him over to showcase it.
If you had asked me the same question, I would have given you the same exact answer.
Kat, you're absolutely right. And keep in mind, please, that Jericho's the man of 1,000 faces, so now he could evolve into another character of his for going through all these flaws and all these losses.
Yep.
So I think Ospreay all day, and you could get 2 story out of this one.
Yeah, it's going to lead to it's going to lead to another phase of Chris Jericho. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
like
nobody reinvents himself more than Chris Jericho.
He's doing some of his best work, literally.
1,000%.
Characters and everything, development, everything in the last year or two. It's amazing.
100,000%. Yes. Totally agree with you.
Yep.
Kevin thinks Ospreay's going to go over as well. Next, we got Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, and Lucha Brothers versus Blackpool Combat and 3 TBA in a stadium stampede match. I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston and crew.
I'm going with Ortiz and them boys because they're the TBA.
I'm going Blackpool Combat.
All right. Ryan?
Yep. I said I agreed with you with Eddie Kingston. Screw.
Okay. There you go.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and Ibushi versus Bullet Club Gold. Who wins that one? I'm going to go probably Hangman and Kenny Omega.
I'm going with Gold because I think I think Gold, man. Like I think they believe in that group, and I really like oh my God, what's the Switchblade? I'm a real big fan of him, and believe it or not, I'm gonna say something that might be contrary to popular belief, but I like the Ass Boys as assholes, like I really do, and I think they might go over. Like Kenny Omega and them once again is one of those matches that them losing. I mean, I'm sorry, Hangman Page. Them losing is not going to affect who they are.
True.
I mean,
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I'm iffy on that. Kat, why?
Well, especially with Kenny Omega, the last month or so has been the blunt of almost every single attack that happens on any show that they're on. He's been gouged with screwdrivers and shit and everything more times than they can count. So I just think going into this, and especially with the two of them tagging or whatever, I just think that it would be I don't understand why they put the two of them together in this match and everything like that if it wasn't to give them the win. That's just me.
Valid point.
That is a valid point.
Now, could you start a feud with them losing, and now you get 2 stories out of 1?
The hell was that?
Already.
That was my dog asking for a treat.
Oh. Jesus.
He's quite
Hear something.
vocal. He was being offered a bone, and he said, yes, now, give it to me.
Kevin says Omega's going to win. And then we have the Aussie Open versus MJF and Adam Cole, baby, for the ROH World Tag Team titles. I think Aussie Open wins the match.
Nope.
Unfortunately, I believe the same thing. I would love to be wrong, but I agree.
Nope.
Yeah.
I think since they lost the last match, I think they're winning that one because I think that's going to set up for the main event.
And that should do it. That is all of the matches for AEW. But like I said, this is going to be one of those shows that we're going to be talking about for a very long time. So do yourself a favor. Like I'm going to spend the money this time and buy the show. I'm not getting paid by AEW to say this, by the way. I should, but I'm not. But it's the reality. This is the best time to be a wrestling fan. Enjoy it. And go out there and get this pay-per-view and come on the War Report next week and join the conversation, how we break it down and talk about it along with everything WWE. Before we wrap it up and take it home, since we are over the hour, does anybody have anything else they want to add before we take it home?
Dumb question. Isn't All Out following week?
Yes. Which I don't understand why you would do it so close and have no time to build up to another show. But that's a whole nother conversation that we're not going to really dive into right now. But
No, not enough time.
In my opinion, it's a bad, stupid move by AEW. You're not giving enough time for this amazing show to marinate and settle in before you try and get people excited for another show where you only have 1 week to prepare, promote, and get it ready and get the fans excited for it. So I'm not such a big fan of the idea. Does anyone else have anything they want to add to that?
I'll just say this one thing. I think the Judgment Day surpassed as the best faction in wrestling. On top
in history?
No. Currently.
Okay.
Come
all
on
right.
now.
No. Because I mean, so more so than the Bloodline.
Well, it's the Bloodline a faction anymore?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, you still got, as of right now, you still got Roman, Solo, and Heyman. I guess that's not really a faction.
Exactly. I was about to say, I was waiting for you to say Heyman. Be like, who's Heyman wrestling?
The Shield was called a faction with 3.
Yeah, but
where's the 3 right now? Paul Heyman's not an active wrestler. He's right.
Was Degeneration X a faction when China was just the bodyguard?
Well, yes, because China would get in the ring and wrestle.
Yeah, China was a wrestler.
China got physical.
China was a wrestler. She was an Intercontinental Champion and a Women's Champion.
Right.
Not originally when she was just with Shawn Michaels and Triple H. She didn't.
Very
true. Beat people up all the time. Like she did stuff at ringside and whatever. Yeah, but that still was. She wasn't a wrestler. She wasn't an active roster wrestler. Do you recall her premiere when she put a chokehold on somebody?
Terry Reynolds from the crowd.
She was a bodyguard.
She threw her around like a rag doll.
Like a rag doll.
Her first match, let's see here, September 14th, 1998.
Yeah, it was after Shawn Michaels left.
Yep. In a handicap match with X-Pac against Mark Henry.
All right, so I'll let me correct my statement. The Judgment Day is the most powerful faction in WWE right now. Does that sound better, Kat?
The Judgment
Day works.
Is the most powerful faction in the WWE presently?
Yeah, they're the most together. They kick ass weekly. Like the Bloodline get their ass kicked and they kick ass.
I don't necessarily disagree with him right now.
Listen,
yeah.
Personally,
I'm just trying to start a fight with Kat. That's all.
The Judgment Day. I just don't know if I would go that far as to rank them that high presently, but
I just wanted to start shit for a little bit, Kat. I just wanted to mess with you.
Shut your damn mouth.
And on that note, it's way above the top of the hour. I want to thank everybody for checking us out this evening. A special shout out, of course, to Kevin and Tara, and of course, David Rosca. We appreciate you guys week after week coming in.
And Dante was on tonight.
Oh,
too.
And Dante, check this out. Yes, thank you. And we appreciate everyone dropping in and making comments. It does help and add to the show. And of course, you can check us out live every single Tuesday with our new After Dark 9 o'clock hour. And we will bring everything pro wrestling to you. Next week, make sure you tuned in as we will break down Wembley Stadium's All In. And then, of course, SmackDown and Raw and everything leading up to Payback. But we appreciate it. You can check us out everywhere if you're checking us out live. Obviously, you can do that on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. And then, of course, we are uploaded from Ryan within 24 hours to anywhere you can think of that you can listen to a podcast. So please check us out. Subscribe us on YouTube and everywhere else you can subscribe. Tell your friends. Join us every week. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And have a great night, great wrestling week. And we will see you next Tuesday, 9 p.m.